There are definitely some strategic actions that we can take to grow a YouTube channel and to get more views. And speaking as a proud Gen Xer myself, I am confident that those of us in Generation X are built different to be able to really handle and excel at putting those strategies to use and succeeding on YouTube. So let's talk about it. Now, if you're unfamiliar with that term, Generation X is reserved for people who were born from 1965 to about 1980. So those of us that right now are 45-ish to 60-ish, that means that we're Gen Xers. And I know there are those of you who are watching the video today that wish you were as cool as us Gen Xers. And I'd love for you to be able to watch and get some good information from it. So I'm going to make you an honorary Generation X member while you watch this, with one stipulation: that you have to go and listen to 15 minutes of 80s music today. Really, it's going to be the best part of your day. Hey, I am Diane. I am 55, so I am clearly in the middle of the Gen X range. And I think there are some ways that we are really well positioned to be able to succeed on YouTube. And I want to talk about that with you today. So let's get to it. Did you know that Generation X is usually referred to as the forgotten generation? I'd forgotten that until I started researching this. And the boom of the baby boomers kind of slacked off, and then all of a sudden there were a whole bunch of millennials that followed us. So honestly, there are just fewer of us, but I say that makes us rare, not forgotten. So that brings us to Generation X superpower number one. We've got a rare and a valuable viewpoint to share on YouTube. Some of us that have started, maybe we've had people tell us, you seem a little old for that. Au contraire, we are definitely in an excellent position to be able to share. We've had a lot of life experience to be able to speak to with knowledge, because we've lived through it, with authenticity because we've lived through it, and we can translate those things into be able to share valuable information on a YouTube channel. So that channel can focus on any number of things. We've spent a lot of time in our careers now, so we can talk about anything that pulls from that. We've had a long time to have hobbies and to learn about them and get good at them. And so sharing from that can really be an encouragement for a lot of people. Or, it can be the more practical things of how to succeed at a marriage, how to raise a family, how to help with raising your grandkids now, if that's the position that you're in. What we live through contributes to really valuable things that people are looking to learn information on. So let's take our rare and valuable knowledge and put it in a YouTube channel and make it accessible and hopefully even a little profitable. Your channel can also focus on what lies ahead for us, whether that's insights for retirement planning, which is, I know, what a whole lot of us are thinking about these days, or further travel opportunities, or living a healthy lifestyle so that we can be as strong and healthy as possible moving into our senior years, which, we're not there yet, let me tell you. The choices are endless about what we can make a channel about, but we're bringing so much to the table that what a lot of people assume the 20 and 30-year-olds, which they wrongly assume that they're the primary people that you're going to find on YouTube, we bring so much that they can't offer because we've lived it. Generation X, superpower number two. We were the last generation to be able to learn and research and think through things without always having a computer or a phone easily at our fingertips where we could look up and learn any question and the answer to that of anything we could ever think of. We learned to type on typewriters, remember them? But we also became the early adopters of the first personal computers. Now, email didn't come about until 1993, and you didn't have access to it at that point, unless you're an MIT professor, which, I don't know, maybe you were. Gen Xers are truly the ones that lived the full transition from analog to digital. So from VHS tapes to DVDs to cassette tapes to 8-tracks to CD players and touch-tone phones to those first ugly car phones in a bag that we saw. Generation X was always at the leading edge of the digital revolution. So you might wonder, well, how does that benefit us? We've learned to be flexible. We've learned to adapt to the changes. And we've learned to be pretty low-key with technology because, honestly, it seems like it changes every day and we just roll with it. It changes all the time, and we live through some of the biggest changes that have ever taken place in the technological world, and we still know what we're doing. So really, that means that it's really no big deal for us to think, oh, I can start making some videos. I can figure out how to make a channel. The thought of setting up your YouTube channel and doing the relatively few steps that you have to take to get it going just doesn't scare us off, because we know how to Google things now, and we know how to think about things without doing that too. And honestly, once we get that list of instructions, we just follow what it says and we do it. We don't have to run artificial intelligence to tell us how to do things, unless you want to, because honestly, we've got our own intelligence that have served us pretty well as we've gotten to this point of things too. So I just encourage you that if it seems scary to think I wouldn't even know how to set up a YouTube channel, let's draw on our Gen X superpowers to feel more comfortable about it and figure that I can figure this out. Gen X is also referred to as the DIY generation, which I didn't really know, but Gen Xers are the latchkey kids who came home from school and mom and dad were both at work, and somehow we figured out how to stay alive during that time. And that's built in us the resilience and the resourcefulness to, again, just figure things out. And that's why I think Gen Xers are just not as hepped up about trying new things, especially things that can benefit us, as would be the case with starting a YouTube channel. So if you've seen anything at all on social media in 2024 about Generation X, you've almost certainly seen this woman.
We fought in real life, not on the internet. We are the last generation of feral children. We didn't have safe spaces. We didn't have trigger warnings. No one was allergic to fucking gluten. We mind our own business. We are older than Google. We are not the bigger person. Leave us alone.
So, along with what she pointed out, we grew up with the best music. That just can't be argued. We grew up with the most interesting fashion choices. We grew up with the most impressive technology. And now those youngsters on TikTok know that we're not to be messed with. So that brings us to our next Generation X superpower as far as starting on YouTube. I see a lot in my comments that people are just nervous about getting negative comments left on their videos. I'm just going to put out there for my Generation X comrades, it takes a lot to scare us. Now, in my experience with my channel, I have to say that 99.9% of the comments are nothing but extremely nice comments or good questions or, stuff that isn't nasty at all. Now, I focus my channel very much on people that are age 40 and up, so that might be a big contributor to that reason. But I'm just going to encourage you, if the thought of negative comments is kind of stifling you in your tracks, just don't let that be what stops you. Honestly, the ones that I do get, I kind of turn into entertainment value. Then if you want, you can delete them so they don't just kind of live there and keep, gnawing at you. And you can even block it so that the person who left that comment can't actually even view your channel ever again. So it's just not that big of a deal. And if you're concerned about people that you know in real life saying anything about your videos, I think it's far more likely that their comment's going to be, hey, I saw you on YouTube. That's so cool. I'd never be able to do anything like that. I think that's probably what the biggest majority of what you're going to get is. Sure, there might be, for whatever reason, you're going to get some negative ones and you move past it. But I think people, especially in our range, they're like, wow, that's cool. Or if that's not the case, remember, we're the last generation of feral children. And in the summertime, we would slide down hot molten metal sliding boards in the playground just because we could. We can live through a nasty comment, and we can keep going. After all, we know what it's like to stand up to tough things.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
All right, so that brings us to Generation X superpower number 4, I believe. So let's just say that if we made it to this point in our life, we've lived through some complicated things. And I don't think I'm alone in saying, okay, I like to make things a little bit simpler now. And I'm definitely taking that approach with my YouTube channel. I record my videos with my iPhone. I sit in front of a window to provide me natural light rather than figuring out all the lighting stuff. I edit my videos with the CapCut app on my phone. I don't make it complicated. I think learning how to do things in a simple way is just coming more natural for us. Because who has the energy to keep learning all this complicated stuff and figure all this stuff out? There are simple ways to do it. So after this video, I'd love if you would take a couple extra minutes and watch my simple setup video where I talk about how I record with my iPhone, how I use the very simple things, and it's just not a complicated process to actually get a pretty decent quality video that's recorded. And then I also have another video that talks about my simple editing techniques, because I hear from a lot of people that editing just seems scary, but honestly, once you get into it, it's really not that bad. I think these 2 videos can help you feel a lot more comfortable if you're thinking about getting started or if you're in your early stages, just to be able to move forward without all the complicated stuff. All right, we're getting near the end of our list here, so thanks for sticking with me. Generation X superpower number 5. We are a recognized group of people for being resourceful. When there's a problem, we figure out how to deal with it. There's not a lot of drama. We just figure out and we solve the problem. So many Gen Xers are kind of looking at retirement coming up, and we're planning for it and thinking maybe we want to have some extra savings to have going into those years, or if you've actually made the decision to retire, you might be wondering what you can do for a side hustle to be able to earn some extra income. I'm really going to encourage you to put some real thought into starting a YouTube channel. With the life experience we have plenty of excellent and authentic information to share. And I really think we're at the point in life where we know we can help others with what we know. As for the earning money part of it, I've talked about the monetizing your channel. Maybe you've heard that term in a lot of other videos. Now that means that when you reach a certain threshold with growing your channel, you can apply to be approved by the Google AdSense program so that the ads that play on your videos, you would get a certain cut from that. I talk about that some in this video here. Plus, I also talk about a lot of different ways that you can use your YouTube channel to make money. Whether that's using it as, sort of like an audition channel where people want to hire you for various freelancing things. You can make videos and show that you have a lot of credibility that you bring to the table, and they can see that more through the video format. Or we can talk about writing books for Amazon and using your YouTube channel to be able to promote them and market them to get more buyers. And honestly, in 2025, I think I really want to help us all focus on digital products and perhaps even digital courses and what we can sell, that even if we have a small audience on our YouTube channel, if we have the right people that are associated with what they know that we can share with them, selling digital products can really be a profitable venture. So I'm going to be moving into that with this channel. And if that's anything that interests you with any of them, I really encourage you to subscribe and come along. All right, Generation X superpower number 6. Hold on, it's the shortest one, but perhaps the most powerful in countering any fears that you would have of starting a YouTube channel. If we can live through a season where this was our go-to hairstyle, I don't think we should be the least bit shy about being in front of a camera and making YouTube videos. Hey, thanks for watching. It's been fun to talk about the Gen X stuff. I get much more into the nitty-gritty of how to do things in lots of my other videos. Here is my super simple setup that I use, where I talk about the easy way to be able to record videos with a lot of the equipment you already have. And here is an entire playlist that I'm building of how to succeed on YouTube when you're over 40. I think it can help. Generation X, we can do this.